One of the most asked questions within the Europa Universalis 4 community is what is the best religion out there? And well, today we're going to be analyzing the religions in EU4 and we're going to decide which ones are the best and why they are and deserve to be the best. Also guys, if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing. I'm trying to reach 200,000 subs and we're so close I can almost smell it. Now, as you guys probably know, as it stands right now, there's a ton of religions within EU4 and I'm going to start from the weakest one to the strongest one. I'm gonna get this out of the way and I'm gonna directly say that fetishists is by far the weakest alongside animists. There's barely any flavor for both of these religions. These are essentially some of the earlier religions. Fetishists did get a little bit of a buff, to be fair, with one of the more recent DLCs, the Origins DLC, but still it is extremely weak compared to everything else there is in the game as it stands. So I'm gonna rank these both on the last level. Now of course, as the fetishist, you do have the option of getting multiple idols compared to the animist, which literally have nothing at all. So I'd say animist the weakest, fetishist right above animist, and then right above that we have Inti, the religion that we find within the Incan Empire lands. Cusco, for example, here, one of the Inti nations, shows us what they offer, which is tolerance to the true faith, missionary strength, autonomy, change reduction, and we have the religious reforms for Inti that offer manpower plus 10%, one colonist, legitimacy, at morale of armies, and core creation cost minus 10%. Now, whilst that might seem like it's very impressive, the reality is you want to do these reforms ASAP so you can actually switch to the Catholicism or whatever other religion the colonial nations will have, which is significantly stronger. And the truth is that having to reform this religion is absolutely atrocious with the more recent patch, especially with the winds of change. There have been some things that have been added to Cusco, which makes the overall gameplay easier, but the religion itself was not really touched, and as such is pretty dog schnapple in my opinion. Just like the Aztecs religion is absolutely atrocious. The Nahuatl religion, which is in essence a carbon copy of the Inti, I don't know which one came first, but they're both basically the same with different reform bonuses. So the Doom mechanic here is a little bit different too compared to the Inti mechanic, whereas when you reach 100% Doom, you gonna be schnapple duped. You don't want to reach 100% Doom. That means you're gonna be sacrificing your people. You have to be at war. You have to do everything in your power to make sure you do not reach 100% Doom. There you go. Winning battles, occupying provinces, sacrificing rulers, and heirs of our subject will lower the Doom. Once you have 5 vassals, you will be able to reform your nation, which makes it significantly faster to reform compared to the Inti religion, which is based off of average autonomy, which is significantly harder to get because getting 5 vassals as the Aztecs, especially with the Flower War CB that they start with, is a piece of cake, really, which means that reforming all 5 of these, should you wish to stick down this path, is not that difficult. And they offer war exhaustion minus 0.05, diplo relations, discipline, colonist, and stab cost minus 20%. So overall average. Probably should have mentioned before this though, we also have the Mayan religion for the Mayan areas, like Shu over here. Now the Mayan religion, you guessed it, again, carbon copy of the other two. Differences: in order to reform the Mayan, you need to have 20 owned cities as it stands right now. This changes a little bit with the Wind of Change DLC, but roughly around the same thing. The bonuses: land maintenance, unrest, infantry compatibility, colonist, and core creation cost minus 20%. It's why I put it third, so it's a little bit above the Aztec and the Incan religions in my opinion, but not really that much above. So as it stands, we've got worst one animist followed by fetishist, and then we have the trio pretty much around the same spot: Inti, Nahuatl, and Mayan religions. Now these in essence are the bad religions. All of them that I just mentioned so far are absolute dog schnapple, okay? They're not good at all. Moving onwards from now, we're gonna be talking about the slightly better to good to extremely good religions that we have in EU4, which is why up next we're gonna be talking about Theravada. Theravada is one of the Buddhist religions. It offers advisor cost, tolerance of heretics, a karma system that is massively pepega. You basically maybe will get some discipline, some diplo reputation, and that's about it. And why is this better than the Inti religions and all that? Well, for a couple of reasons actually. First off, it is not a primitive religion. So if you play here, because of your religion, you will be cataloged as a primitive. That means you're not going to get 100% of the income from gold, for example. So even though these guys have, I don't know how many, like 11, 12 gold mines, instead of getting 50 gold, let's say, they would be getting 4 gold. or 5 max, you know what I mean? Because they're primitives. So they have to reform those 5 reforms to not be primitives. In fact, even animist is not primitive. So in some regards, even animist is a little bit better than that, albeit, you know, animist is still the worst. Don't make the mistake of thinking animist is not bad. It's really bad. Another reason why the Buddhist religions are not so bad is because of the monuments. Remember that the great projects that we have, some of them are tied to Buddhism. For example, one of these monuments here, the Borobuddha is usable by culture Malay or one of the Buddhist religions or Hindu religions for that matter. And there's more religions like that around. Like, see, for example, this one here, religion must be Theravada, Vajrayana, or Mahayana, even though at the start it is Hindu, so you have to basically change that in order to actually take advantage of it. I never realized, but the Khmer starts with a pretty tumultuous religious situation, doesn't it? Half of the country is the primary religion. The other half is 2 different religions. Holy snap. I wager that Mahayana, Buddhist, Theravada, and Vajrayana are basically on the same spot, all of them. Only difference is Mahayana might be a little bit better because you do get the idea cost minus 5%, which is pretty cool. And then also Vajrayana gets the morale of armies, so it helps it out a little bit with its military efforts, I guess. That being said, the next religion on our list is surprisingly stronger than people actually think it is, because it is the Tengri religion. Now, whilst the religion itself doesn't give that much snaps, it gives 20% regiment cost and cavalry to infantry ratio plus 25% by itself. However, it has the ability to syncretize with another faith. So this means that it can syncretize with any faith on the face of the planet, but it can only syncretize with one of them, okay? So whatever you do decide to syncretize with will give you different bonuses. So if you syncretize with Vajrayana, you get horde unity, tolerance of the true faith. For Confucian, you get stability cost modifier. For Sunni, you get trade efficiency, chance of new heir. But then, for example, if I was to use the console command here and make Shinto another option, then we get 5% discipline and national unrest -1, which is not bad overall. And then if I was to do the same with the Aztecs, then I would get from Nahuatl raising power gain plus 20% and morale of armies. In my opinion, Nahuatl is the best one to syncretize with when it comes to the bonus itself, because the raising power gain means you get 20% more mana points from raising provinces, which can be insanely powerful, especially if you mix that in with the policies that you can get from economic and horde ideas and so on. It is absolutely juicy. The downside is that there's not many nations that are Tengri. In fact, at the start, you only have Oirats, Mongolia, Cradle, and Solon, I think. Maybe Shibei too. Yeah, Shibei is 2. And Korchin, actually. Okay, so we do have quite a few. Nanai as well. Oh my god, Nivika, Oromochi, Jiangsu. Okay, so basically all of Manchuria, Oirats, Mongolia, and Cradle. That's it. That's it. No other nations. It's very few, very limited the amount of nations that are Tengri. And also, you only can syncretize with one other religion. So eventually, you will have to convert everything to your religion or to your syncretized religion, whatever that religion might be. So suffice to say, Tengri has a lot of potential, but it is a little bit lackluster in certain regard. Next on this list is Coptic. Now, Coptic is not amazing, but it's not too bad also. Coptic, as long as you control all 5 of your holy sites, will give you missionary strength, core creation cost reduction, discipline, legitimacy. It's really average. It's average as snap, but it also gives fort defense, and it makes it harder for enemies to convert your provinces. You also get tolerance of the faith, and most importantly, you have the ability to get defender of the faith. My personal opinion is that whichever religion can get defender of the faith is already a couple of tiers above all the other religions, because the defender of the faith mechanic implies that you will be able to get manpower, technology reduction, morale of armies, etc., whatever you get from the different tiers, which allow you to have an easier time conquering the world or just turning everybody to your religion if that's what you actually want to do. And since we are here, the next religion, unsurprisingly, is Judaism, only available at the game start within the provinces of Semian. Only 2 provinces, Dembia and Semian, are the Jewish provinces at the start, and you can release yourselves as Semian if you choose to when you play as Ethiopia. Eventually, there's a couple more events that allow you to get some Jewish provinces in Selanik, for example, and the Ottomans and so on. But at the start, this is your only chance of starting as a Jewish nation. So obviously, the most important thing to take into account is the fact that there's no other religions, there's no other provinces, your religion. So that, in fact, is a bonus. You might think, oh, Ludi, but that's a bad thing, right? You said it's a bad thing for Tengri to not have the same religion. Well, for Tengri it is, because Tengri already have tribal supremacy, so they don't need a CB, which is 75% aggressive expansion. But for the Jews, it's actually good, because being the only nation that is Jewish on the planet means that you can go religious ideas, and then you get the Deus Vulci CB, which gives you basically the same CB that the Oirats start with. It is the Deusvold CB, which means you get 75% aggressive expansion from taking heretical and heathen provinces, which is everybody, because there's no other Jewish nations, okay? That's a forte unto itself. Then you also get the option of forming Israel whenever you conquer the Holy Lands. But more importantly, the religion itself is not bad. So we got tolerance of the true faith +2, possible advisors, missionary strength reduction whenever someone tries to convert your provinces, and we also have the 3 faith system. Whenever you select either one of these, you have the flat bonuses. So for example, you got national unrest, tech cost, interest per annum, development cost -10, which is huge by the way, tolerance to the heathens, tolerance to the true faith, fort defense, infantry compatibility, infantry cost, morale of armies, navies, and so on. But then there's more, because every time you select one of these, you also get a specific bonus. So for example, look at here. Every one battle reduces war exhaustion by 0.05. Every one battle also gives 75 faith power, and separate peace treaties in a war do not trigger this effect. The other one here, sieges of our own fallen forts start with +2 siege progress in our favor. Winning sieges against hostile forts gives you +5 faith. And then Yom Kippur, whilst at war, our country gets 20% manpower recovery and 25% faith power. It is double if we are in a defensive war. It's the same for all of these. So you have 9 aspects with 9 different unique mechanics. Look at that. Celebrate Festival also gives 1 stability whenever you get this. So you could essentially just spam it and get +3 stability by being at war with the other effect enacted earlier. It is really, really powerful. Extremely underrated in my opinion, actually. And definitely makes for some very interesting playthroughs and difficult ones, because it's not easy to make sure that Judaism survives in EU4. Up next is Hinduism, coming in from the spice-rich lands of India. We have lots and lots of Hindu deities we can choose from, and in our case here, we've got Shiva, Ganesh, Surya, Ganga, Shakri, and Vishnu. All of them come with 2 effects, and honestly, all of them are really, really good effects for that matter. For example, the core creation cost reduction -10% together with aggressive expansion is really great, because it appeals to the 2 things you need when you're expanding, which is make it cheaper to core provinces and get less aggressive expansion so you can continue to expand, right? Same thing here, national tax and trade efficiency. So when you're not expanding, you want to have a period of peace and prosperity, you go for this and you get extra monies. Everybody loves monies, right? Or you want to lose less units, get the discipline and siege ability to take forts faster as well. Whatever the case, Hinduism got you covered, homie. There's not too many unique mechanics around it. However, it does have some really cool events. We also need to mention that Hinduism has a buttload of provinces. All of India is Hindu, with a few exceptions in the northwestern parts of India, namely in Multan and Sindh. Every single other province is Hindu. Again, one more exception actually. Daman is Zoroastrian. I forgot about those guys. In fact, I forgot about Zoroastrian at all. So where am I going to put Zoroastrians? I guess Zoroastrian would be a little bit above Hinduism. Let's go ahead and change currently Gujarat to Zoroastrian, since we have the city of Daman, right? Show you what it actually entails. So it's got goods produced, missionary strength, governing capacity modifier, construction cost, basically the same mechanic as Coptics have. So I'd say on the same level as Coptics or Hindus, not even Hindus, probably below Hindus, because you don't actually have any proper military aspects that you can use. You do get, however, trade efficiency from the religion by default and tolerance to the true faith, which is not too bad. And everybody knows about the famous monument in Shirvan, the Batu Ateshgah, which gives land fire damage +5%, fire received -10%, discipline +10, and culture conversion cost -10%, which is actually pretty good. And with the new King of Kings DLC, well, now it's the old one, because the Wind of Change is the newest one. With the King of Kings DLC, whenever you form Persia, if you go down the Zoroastrian path, it's actually very easy to make use of this monument, to be fair. So because of the mission tree that you get from Persia, I guess we could bump up Zoroastrianism above Hinduism. I'm going to show you guys my little save on Sweden here, and I'm going to say that Norse is on par with Hinduism. It's basically Hinduism with a different reskin. The Norse gods are better than the Hindu gods, that's for sure, but they're still the same system in essence. You do get trade efficiency, you do get land force limit, naval force limit, and missionary strength, which is different from Hindus, aside from the actual god bonuses. And just like the Jews, you don't have any other nations that will be Norse, so you will have an easy time. If you go full religious, you essentially get a Deus Vult against everybody in the world, so you can just say, go ahead and say, attack these bastards. You go show superiority, 75% aggressive expansion, 125% progress, 125% prestige, and so on. So you are set for the rest of the campaign to basically wipe out everybody around for less aggressive expansion. But just getting this religion to trigger is an actual nightmare. If you guys haven't watched my Sweden video, I'll link it in the description. I swear to God, it took me probably more than a month to actually Alt F4 enough to get the stupid ass event to trigger. So screw this, man. It pissed me off so much I don't even want to continue the freaking run. In the eastern parts of East Asia, we do have Shinto, a religion unique to the Japanese islands, which reflects the special interpretation of Shinto Buddhism by the Japanese. Shinto comes with morale of armies plus 10%, tolerance of heretics, and missionary strength minus 2% whenever someone tries to convert you. However, here's where it lies. Here's where the good schnaps is. So you do have an isolationist system, and based on what outcome you choose from the events that will trigger in your campaign, you can go more or less isolationist, with some of these being actually insane. For example, dev cost reduction together with tolerance of the true faith and global prosperity growth is massive. I cannot freaking express how powerful that is if you're going to be playing Toll. Or if you don't want to go play Toll, you can get missionaries and culture conversion costs from isolationist, or idea costs from adaptive, or you can just open the doors to everybody and you get trade efficiency, tech cost, and diplo reputation. But what else shines about the Shinto is the fact that you get some unique events, and tied in with the mission tree that you have, you could potentially get the Japanese islands to be the strongest playing Toll area in the world. I'm talking about getting 4 mana points per dev click in the early 1500s. No other area can do this except the Japanese islands because of the combination of the events from Shinto and from the mission tree itself. Only downside is the fact that you do not have the ability to claim Defender of the Faith, which really obviously is pretty pepega, but unfortunately it is what it is. Now I've also gone ahead and I've done something that nobody else ever did in EU4. I loaded up a different bookmark just to show you guys our next religion, Protestantism. Now Protestantism used to be my favorite religion, and I actually thought it was the strongest in the game a few patches ago. It's been not necessarily the religion itself, it got nerfed, but other religions appeared and older religions got a buff, which made Protestantism not as great anymore. The main feature of Protestantism, aside from the national tax and improved relations, is the fact that you have a flexible amount and large amount of different aspects you can change, and you have 3 of them you can have active at the same time. Some of them are really great, like dev cost reduction, discipline, morale of armies, idea cost, global settlers, production efficiency, aggressive expansion impact, etc. They're not bad. Unfortunately, the problem is that they don't give as much bonus as some of the other religions on this list, and this might be controversial, but I personally think that totemism is on par with Protestantism. Oh, but Ludi, totemism suck a pee, bro. It did get a nerf when it initially got launched. Totemism was by far the strongest religion in the game because it simply offered insane buffs. It was just unbelievably powerful in my opinion. Like, you used to get 20% discipline, 20% infantry combat ability, which is insane. So they nerfed it, but still it's pretty powerful. All due to its ancestors starting from 1444 is a must to actually make use of the totemist aspects. And the way that it works is whenever your leader dies, based on whatever trait your leader had, you will be able to get an aspect, and then you can pile up 10 aspects. So let me do a little bit of console command magic here. We kill that guy and we're gonna get a few different leaders to spawn in, kill them all off, so we get different aspects. There you go, you die as well, and you die as well, and let's kill the next guy as well. Boom. All right, so now a few leaders have passed. Every time your leader dies, you get a different aspect. So we can get aggressive expansion minus 5%, diplo reputation plus 1, national tax plus 10%, improved relations plus 20%, and you could get 10 of these. Remember, these are actually the same as the aspects of the Protestants. Some of them are actually better than the aspects of the Protestant, or on par. The difference is that you can get 10 of them, not 3, which is freaking insane, my dude. So going totemism and killing off early on in the campaign some leaders that had discipline or morale of army traits or whatever the case, it basically makes you the strongest military nation in the game, or it gives you bonuses that are absolutely insane overall. So totemism is probably even better than the next religion on the list, which is Hussite. That's right, I made Kiowa Hussite. You got a problem with that, mofo? Come at me, bruh. Come at me. Anyway, Hussite is basically Protestantism, but a little bit more focused on military. Notice the fact that you get shock damage received minus 5% from the start, and your aspects are better than the Protestant ones. You get War score versus other religions minus 10%, goods produced plus 5, and tolerance of the true faith, manpower plus 20%, yearly army tradition decay minus 1%, and so on. They're not amazing, but they're definitely better. And if you want to do, say, a one culture world run, then Hussite is probably going to be the one you should be going for, because it also gives culture conversion cost minus 20%, which you can mix up with other modifiers, of course. Slightly above Protestantism and Hussites are the Reformed. Now, they give advisor, possible, and tolerance of the true faith, but here's where they shine. Trade offers, trade efficiency, global trade power, goods produced plus 5%, 3 different bonuses. Reformed got massively buffed with one of the more recent DLCs. I don't remember which DLC buffed Reformed, but I remember that afterward, Reformed was actually not bad anymore going for, especially as the Dutch, right? You also get morale of armies, navies, and damage inflicted. You also can get dev costs for playing toll alongside the estate loyalty and national unrest, and you also can get diplo reputation, spy action, and improved relations. So based on whatever you want to do, you want to go to war, you want to play toll, you want to do whatever, you can activate one or two or all of these particular modifiers if you have enough fervor, and then you can make use of all of these bonuses at the same time if you like to. We're coming into the territory of the big three, and that's right, we're going for the Orthodox religion up next. Orthodoxy is not as widespread as the other Christian religion is Catholicism, and it is basically sandwiched between Sunni Islam and Catholicism, but that being said, it is one of the strongest. It used to be, in my opinion, the strongest religion in the game a while back. Things have changed in more recent patches. By default, it offers stab cost and tolerance of the true faith, plus you have the unique icon system with some pretty powerful modifiers such as construction cost and dev cost, which is awesome because that basically is what you're going to need whenever you're developing and playing toll. Aggressive expansion, improved relations, which helps with expanding. Discipline plus 5, national unrest, harsh treatment minus 25. Everything is really good. What also shines is the patriarchy system that offers 33% manpower modifier. Put that together with the defender of the faith that again will offer manpower alongside the 33 from patriarchal authority, and with some more unique local modifiers, it makes Orthodoxy the religion that can give you the highest amount of manpower overall. Plus, there are a ton of Orthodox specific great monuments, including the ones around the Russian lands, Constantinople, Bulgaria, and so on. That being said, on second spot, we have the Muslim group, and I'm going to put together Shia, Sunni, anybody in the same spot because the only difference between the three religions is the initial bonus, which for the body is a chance of air and goods produced plus 10%. For the Shia is morale of armies alongside the chance of air, and for the Sunnis it is cav to infantry ratio alongside the chance of air. So out of the three of them, they're basically identical, but if we had to choose a winner, Ibadi would be stronger than the other two because the goods produced plus 10% obviously is the better one. So let's tag into Oman over here. What makes Islam so good? Well, obviously you do have Defender of the Faith, and since we do talk about Defender of the Faith, I guess Sunni might be better because you do start with level 5 pretty much as Sunni, since most Islamic nations are Sunni at the start, not Ibadi. Ibadi is only Mazab and Oman at the start that is Ibadi. Now what does shine about it is the fact that you have a choice between legalism, which offers manpower, tax, tech cost reduction, and mysticism, which offers morale of armies and idea cost minus 10%, but it doesn't stop there. You also have the scholar system, which offers dev cost reduction, merchants, legitimacy, shock damage, admin tech cost, and so on. It is definitely a very strong religion, but not nearly as strong as the one in first place, which you probably guessed by now. Because of more recent patches and quite a few recent patches, we do have the strongest one as Catholicism. First off, most of Europe is Catholic, which helps out massively. The papal system is really strong. You've got the Golden Bull, which gives unique modifiers like absolutism, regiment drill loss reduction, and unrest in Catholic provinces reduction, or aggressive expansion impact reduction, institution spread, even dev cost reduction, and tolerance of heathens. But that's not all. Catholic nations themselves can get unique bonuses by spending some papal influence, such as getting construction costs and national tax, morale of armies, legitimacy, improved relations, one stability, diplo annexation, and reputation bonuses, morale, land maintenance and manpower recovery speed, and even corruption reduction, inflation reduction. And the best part is that you can get all of them at the same time alongside the Golden Bull, and of course you can also become Defender of the Faith, and this is from the very start at level 5. Plus, when the Protestant Reformation triggers, you will be able to to get the Council of Trent, which again can give you manpower, can give you some massive military buffs in the 1500s that you can keep till the end of the campaign. Right now, as it stands, Catholicism is by far the strongest, and some of the Catholic nations, like say the Iberian ones, also have the holy orders. Look how many holy orders. You only get these if you're Catholic, and they're massive, albeit this is tied to culture more than anything else, because then the Muslims also can get it in Andalusia, right? So there's that. Now I do want to do a little bit of a test. I did not mention two religions, and I want to see if you guys can tell in the comment section which are these two religions, and also where do you think they fit? Higher, lower, middle? What spot would you give these two mythical religions? And also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe so we can get that sub goal. And until the next time, check out this awesome EU5 video. And I want to give a massive thank you to all of my patrons, channel members, and Twitch subscribers. I would not be able to do this without all your support.